sings and says, there is hope. Yes, there is hope. The title of that song is Up with Hope. There is hope. Another beautiful morning on radio. The radio man has come. It's a day to take us further into the realms of hope. Never you lose hope. You remember my message for the children of the land? I told the children that as they grow and navigate the world, they should remember that their choices and actions have the power to shape not only their own lives, but also the lives of those around them. That message is also for you. Always strive to be kind, compassionate, and honest. Treat everyone with respect and empathy, just as you would want them to treat you. So this morning, I stand in solidarity with you. Whatever you are going through, I stand with you. This morning, I also acknowledge the struggles, the pain. I also acknowledge the resilience of our people that have refused to give up. That is how to build a great country. So I call upon the collective humanity that binds us to bring comfort to those who are suffering, to inspire hope in those who have lost it, and to ignite the spark of possibility in the hearts of all Nigerians. May the courage of those who are fighting for a better tomorrow inspire us all. May the resilience of those who are holding on to hope in the face of adversity motivate us to take action. And may the determination of those who are working tirelessly to build a brighter future for Nigeria energize us to join forces. Let's stand together as one people, united in our quest for a better future. Let's support one another. Let us uplift each other, and let us work together to build a nation that is just, equitable, and prosperous for all. May our collective efforts bring about a brighter future for our land. And may our shared humanity guide us towards a world that is more compassionate, more just, and more peaceful for all. Everything good will come. The program is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I am Edmondo Pillow, the radio man. Welcome to my word.
My uncle was in one room. He had prostate cancer and he actually died the day after my father's funeral in Oluyoro. My dad's dead, but you know, the nurses that were there, my dad had come, giving them money. This is for Christmas. I'm going to Esauki. Tomorrow, when I'm coming on Boxing Day, I'm going to be here. So they all still had the Christmas money my dad had given them when they brought my dad's corpse inside. So they were so shocked.
He had been there earlier.
He had been there like 2 hours before.
When he brought his elder brother.
When he brought his elder brother for admission. And then my husband had gone to tell his younger brother that my dad had been shot. So my husband went to pick my Uncle Dele. So as Uncle Dele got there, he fainted. So there were 3 gay brothers, the dead one, the dying one and the fainted one.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
So the point is that when the assassins came, Bola Ige's security men were not around.
They said they were not around. They had locked my brother up, so nobody knew if indeed they were there, and they let those ones go in and do their work. But the excuse they gave was that they were not there. That's the excuse.
All of them?
All of them. And then 64 rounds of ammunition was locked up inside a cupboard.
Who locked it up?
The security detail.
So they were not armed when they left?
They were not armed when they left. They were not armed at any time. They did not plan to be armed. They had disarmed themselves.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Your dad was a Zikist.
He was a Sikh, yeah.
Your grandfather was an Awoist.
And grandmother was an Awoist.
How do you reconcile this?
Well, he was rebellious. Just the way I also rebelled against him when he went to MPN and I remained in UPN. And at the point we're almost not on speaking terms in the house. And my daughter also rebelled against me. My daughter is a Milocon. I'm not a Milocon.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
And he never mobilized his team around the project.
Forget about that.
He didn't do that?
No.
Did he do that towards Tinubu?
No. Well, he didn't do that for Shibajo. I think Tinubu outsmarted him.
Tinubu did?
Yeah, I think he outsmarted him.
He didn't support Tinubu?
I'm not sure he was a Tinubu's fan.
So what happened?
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Very odd. So my children were like, Grandma. So my son went to the study. I thought my mom was there because in the study there's a bathroom and my mom wasn't there. Grandma, on my dad's side, there are two wings of the house. My mom has one side, my dad has one side. Grandma. Then I heard my mom's voice faintly say, yes. So on my mom's door, the key was outside. So my son was the one who actually opened the door and found that it was locked. So he just undid the key. As he undid the key, Muiwa just leapt out and said, Daddy, I heard a shot. I'm like, what? Because I didn't even go to my dad's side. I was going to my mom's side first and then going to my dad's. Muiwa just ran out.
So they were locked in by the assassins?
The assassins locked my mom, Muiwa's wife, my uncle's wife, who my dad had gone to drop in Catholic Hospital Oluyoro, locked them in my mom's room and went to go and kill my dad.
Do we need a revolution?
Oh, sure, certainly. We are going nowhere with this evolution process. Oh.
We need a revolution.
I told a friend yesterday, I said, if we continue this way, for Nigeria to be sane, we need another 200 years. But if we have a strong leader, a leader like Ataturk, coming here, within a period of 4 or 5 years, he will straighten us out.
Tinubu might straighten us out.
It's not an Ataturk.
It's not an Ataturk? You should go study Ataturk?
He should, if he cares.
But time is running out.
Because, Turkey was in a worse condition than where we are in. Ethnic rivalry, religious problem, poverty, prostitution. At that point, they were calling Turkey, a sick man of Europe. And then Ataturk just came and straightened everybody out,
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
You've heard two voices. The female voice is the author of the book, He Gave Me Wings. She's also the author of the book, She Gave Me Roots. He gave me wings. Who is he? The he is Bola Ige. So you can say, Bola Ige gave me wings. She gave me roots. Who is the she? The she is Atinuke. So it's a two-in-one book. She gave me roots. He gave me wings. A book written by Funsho Adebola Ne Ige, Bola Ige's daughter. So she is the female voice you heard. The male voice is the author of the book, Adventures of a Guerrilla Journalist. I'm talking about the renowned journalist, Babafemi Ojudu. Babafemi Ojudu was a senator representing Ekiti State from 2011 to 2015. He has released a new book entitled Adventures of a Guerrilla Journalist. Senator Babafemi Ojudu and Funsho Adebola are hanging out with me in the studio. So their voices will be coming. Are you ready for this? Remember, I was not here last week. I was with the governor in the media charge. Before last week, on the 7th of December, I talked about the book, The Prince, written by Niccolo Machiavelli. And in trying to explain some aspects of power, I made reference to the book. In that edition of the program, I read from the book, and I told you a story of how I got a call from a top political leader, and that book was one of the books we referenced in our discussion. It says, when states newly acquired have been accustomed to living freely under their own laws, there are three ways to hold them securely: by devastating them, by going and living there in person. Machiavelli says, by letting them keep their own laws, exerting tribute, and setting up an oligarchy which will keep the state friendly to you. So in that case, the government will know that it cannot endure without the friendship and power of the prince who created it, and so it has to exert itself to maintain his authority. The military leader of Niger granted an interview recently where he accused the Nigerian authority of granting France a military base within Nigeria's territory. He also accused Nigeria of collaborating with France to sponsor a new terrorist group to destabilize Niger. The Nigerian government has come out to deny the accusation. But looking at it, I'm thinking, I'm wondering, France leaving Niger, France out of Mali, France out of Burkina Faso, and then relate it with Tinubu's love for France. He was given a red carpet reception in France recently. It wasn't France that set up the Nigerian oligarchy. It was Britain that set it up. So this love for France, what is behind it? I am searching. There is Russia in Niger. There is Russia in Mali. There is Russia in Burkina Faso. there is Russia in Central African Republic. What does that mean for Nigeria's security, considering that in recent time, Russian flag was flown in the north by demonstrators? Is Tinubu thinking that if he sat back and watched, Russia might be up to something? Does Tinubu need protection from France? I am still searching. Perhaps in 2 weeks, I will find the answers to base my analysis upon. At the moment, the federal government is saying no. There is no French base in Nigeria. He also reminds me of the Anglo-Nigerian Pact with Britain in the early 1960s. The Tafawa Balewa government secretly gave a military base to Britain in Nigeria. Obafemi Awolowo spoke vehemently against it. At the end of the day, Tafawa Balewa had to withdraw that permission. And it was one of the ways Obafemi Awolowo offended the northern oligarchy that was backed by Britain. Tinubu has not accepted that there is a French military base in Nigeria. If there was a French military base, it will not be long before we know. But before the Nigerian military leader said something about it, some northern politicians have been clamoring against any move to grant France a military base in Nigeria. Events are unfolding. The West African sub-region is an interesting region. The Sahel is an interesting region. And we will see how France is set to fight back. You don't beat France and expect France not to cry. Okay. I just raised that part. Because what we are seeing is a battle of oligarchies in West Africa. France is refusing to go. I have not brought in the United States into this equation. Why is Britain quiet about it? What is going on? They have lost the mineral resources in Niger. Are they coming for the ones in Zamfara? In Jigawa? In Sokoto? All right. I made the point that when you apply this Machiavelli trick to Africa and to Nigeria, where oppressive leadership and systemic corruption have stifled innovation, unleashed poverty, and created a cycle of violence, parallels can be drawn with Machiavelli's principles on governance and subjugation of the people. Nigeria's current challenges, particularly in its governance structures and socio-political dynamics, reflect the outcomes of a state poorly managed after being acquired in Machiavelli's terms. Nigeria is an acquired state. In Machiavelli's framework, one way to hold a newly acquired state is by devastating it. You could see where the big powers had sway in West Africa, those economies were devastated. Not just in West Africa, in the Horn of Africa, example, the Congo. So they devastated, they caused war. In Sudan, you know what is going on in Sudan at the moment? It's a war of big powers and some Arab nations. So, for you to understand why it is happening, put this law down. One way to hold a newly acquired state is by devastating it. And you can see the political leadership is doing that in the Middle Belt. You can call them Fulani headsmen. There are people behind them. You can call them unknown gunmen in the southeast. There are people giving them those weapons. So they know the way to keep Nigeria down is to devastate it. And then you acquire the resources of the state. And Nigeria's political leaders are part of that plot. You can see consistently no one has developed the Niger Delta. But if you go to other places where oil is flowing in different parts of the world, these are beautiful cities. Because their leaders refuse to collaborate with external actors. But in Nigeria, they collaborate with external actors to devastate the land. So the Niger Delta is a devastated community. And when you devastate them, you now create criminals out of the people. They begin to fight themselves, cut groups, militants. They take upon themselves. So there is no peace in the land. As they fight themselves, external actors come and take the resources. Are you with me in this class? So take note. Nigeria's current challenges, particularly in its governance structures and socio-political dynamics, reflect the outcomes of a state poorly managed after being acquired. Another point I need to make this morning is that the government's inability or unwillingness to address poverty, unemployment, and insecurity has devastated the populace's ability to do well economically, thus leaving citizens disempowered and dependent on the state or oligarchic structures for survival. You know, when they come, this is Christmas now, they will begin to cook. So what you're having now is charity. Charity, they give you food to eat. Once you eat this morning, you are hungry the next day. They have refused to create the channel where you'll be able to fish for yourself and you don't need to line up to collect those foods. Because if they create it, that means you don't need them anymore. So they want you to continuously need them. And it has become what you call charity. And you're asking, if you are going to give 20,000 persons food, are there other ways we can deploy it so that this food will flow through a natural process, a process of wealth distribution, so that people are not gathering to eat? Can we have a state, a welfare state, where people can get ticket and go to organized places and get food? But we have refused to create it because the tactics is to devastate the people so that they will lose their pride and learn to line up and sing their praises. In this case, the poverty-stricken person perhaps has no option. That is why, for the people to have themselves challenge their leadership, they must attain some level of education. And that education must provide for them some level of prosperity. In that case, they will be able to check the leadership. So this devastation ensures that the majority remain focused on survival rather than resistance or rebellion. It also limits challenged. They can be challenged. Are you on X this morning? So search for Edmondo Bilo on X or Twitter. Hey, why are we streaming on TikTok? Okay. We are streaming on TikTok.